Hello again, folks. This is Father Larry back for part 2 of my Ascension Catholic Church tour. Tonight I want to take you in the sacristy and show you where I vest and the altar servers vest, and we'll see what we can learn. So here we are in the sacristy. This is, remember, where we went up into the bell tower. This is the altar server's side, and these cabinets hold all their vestments. So the altar servers suit up in here. What's up here? Hey, there's some wise men, Christmas lights, wise men, shepherds, different things. So just altar server vestments and things over here. Nothing too exciting now. Utility closet. This is, there's a little bathroom over there. Another closet with some vestments. Water cooler. That's the cross we use right there for the Good Friday service. It's really messy in here, and I apologize. So now I think I'm going to show you my liturgical vestments, and we'll talk about all that for a second. So welcome to the sacristy. This is where I suit up every day for Mass and other liturgical ceremonies. So I'll give you a little tour of the contents of this. I have these beautiful vestments. Some of these are mine. Some of them belong to Ascension. And I'm going to go ahead and vest. What the heck, and show you how a priest puts on his vestments. All right, but why don't I start by explaining the Roman collar a little bit. So here's a little review about why priests wear a black shirt. Black is a symbol of mourning, grieving, symbol of purity and simplicity. Basically, when a priest wears black, I can mix and mingle with anybody. With any rich people, poor people, and everything in between. So there's a real freedom to just wearing clerical attire. Now, why do we have a little tongue depressor stuck in our collar here? Well, I mean, there's kind of an evolution of clerical attire. The way I've always heard it, it began with the cassock, okay? And this is a cassock. I own this cassock, and it has 33 buttons. And for the years of Christ's life. And this long black robe was a common garment in ancient Rome and stuff. But really what happened was that became the customary garb, a long black robe and a wide brimmed black hat for students in Europe with the rise of universities in Bologna or Paris, okay? That's what students would wear in these universities. And of course, these were church-run universities. Universities sprung up out of the church. And these students were largely clerics. Many of them were studying for clerical offices and so on. They were clergy. So a lot of times they left after their studies and ordination, and they continued to wear this same garment that they wore as a student, and it kind of evolved into this. That just became associated with priests and what they wore. Now, that's the way it was explained to me, and it seems to make sense. And then sometime in the 19th century, it kind of evolved, I heard, in Scotland, but then it came to England, to America, that priests started just wearing a simple shirt and sticking this collar in there, or some rendition of that. And now it's nice. And, this is really handy dandy because you can pop and flip. That's what priests call it, when you open up your collar and stick that back in there like that. So that's like the casual priest look, It's called pop and flip. Now, I'm going to vest here for you so that, look, I have to use a button extender. You busted me. All right, I got to use a button extender so I can get this thing to shut because of my fat neck. All right, now, so let's get back into these vestments now. The first thing I'm going to put on for you folks is the amice. Where's my amice here? The amice comes from this Latin word amictus, and it just really is two words, ambi and iacere. So it's a thing that you throw around. Is literally what it means. Throw around you. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So you just go like this, and the purpose of it is to cover up your Roman collar, your collar, and just to absorb sweat and perspiration around your neck and so on. I get these things really dirty. I don't know why my neck's so dirty. Is anybody else's neck as dirty as mine? I mean, I don't understand. I wash it sometimes, but anyway, but that's the purpose, to keep your vestments clean and to cover up any streetwear, any of your clerical clothing that is non-liturgical. So this would be considered a non-liturgical garment. The Roman collar should not be visible underneath your vestments. So you want to cover it up. That's the twofold purpose of the amice, to cover it up and to keep everything clean and so on. So it's a pain in the neck to put on a little bit. You got to fuss with it, but that's about right. Now, next thing is the alb, from this Latin word albus, which means white. So it's a white garment that basically just goes over everything. This has, goes back to ancient Greece, the toga, and Rome, and so on. It's pretty common in history in Middle Eastern countries and so on to wear a long white robe. I always take my watch off whenever I vest, so I just started doing that automatically, just out of habit. As soon as I throw an alb on, next thing, so I didn't... That's just habit now. Why do I do that? Because I don't want that visible. I don't want to see it. I don't want to think of time and temporality when I'm standing between heaven and earth, okay, at the altar, doing something, touching heaven while still standing on earth. Time and eternity intersect at that altar, and I don't want to be reminded of time when I'm reaching out towards eternity. So anyway, now put the alb on, albus for white. This is a common liturgical garment, and that even the laity could wear, actually. So it's a symbol of your baptismal purity when you put this on. That's what really, that's what this garment should call to mind. That's what the saints wear in heaven, a white garment that's been washed clean in the blood of the Lamb, and they appear there in this white linen garment. So anyway, there's different kinds of albs. You don't always have to wear an amice. You can wear, like this alb here has a collar that comes up, so that usually, for the most part, covers my Roman collar or whatever shirt. So you don't really need an amice with this. But I have this square cut that's made. You have to have an amice if you're going to wear this style of alb. Now, moving on. Next, it's Lent, so I'm going to put on purple vestments here and hang that up there. So the next thing we have to put on is the cincture. Okay, just from the Latin word cingere, which means something that goes around, okay, and surrounds you. And it's kind of cool and trick. You basically make a little loop, and then you stick the tassels through, and then you cinch it tight around your waist. And then you put on your stole. The stole is a symbol of the priesthood. Priests, you always kiss it before you put it on. There's a cross right there. So you place it over both shoulders like that. Make sure it's even. Check. Then you take your cincture and go over top of it, and then you kind of make a little loop and pull the tassels up through, and then cinch it tight. Now, I sometimes put a double knot on this side because I hang my microphone, the wireless mic, right off of this, so I don't want the thing to come loose. Sometimes that's happened to me before, where this it pulls the knot free. So anyway, all right, now and one little cool trick with this, you know, when you hang it up, this is something that was shown to me and that I always do. It's kind of like you braid it, and then, you know, all you got to do, and then hang it on your hanger, and then all you got to do is pull it apart. Pretty cool, huh? And it's really easy to re-braid it. You get used to doing this to where you can do it pretty fast. And that's pretty much it. So anyway, I'll hang that back up and continue vesting. So this is the symbol of the priesthood. You'll notice a deacon wears it across this way, over one shoulder and down, and it comes together right at his hip. All right, so if you see a clergy person in liturgical vestments with a stole across his chest diagonally, that's a deacon. This is the symbol of the priest, over both shoulders. Now, the last thing to go on is the little house. It's called a chasuble, and it's meant to symbolize charity, and which covers everything. So this is literally from this word in Latin, casula, which means little house. And basically, you just put this thing on over the whole shooting match, and just like that. Check, make sure everything's nice and sweet, and you're ready to go. All right, now, while I'm all suited up, let's see. This is a vestment that was made by these nuns when I got ordained. I bought these vestments one at a time. I saved money and bought a set of my own vestments that I take to each parish. This is purple, and I love this purple. It's just gorgeous. All right, next, let's look at some other vestments here. Ordinary time. This is my green vestment for ordinary time. And it's beautiful. Now, I want to point out something. You see that symbol there? That's a commonly seen symbol in the church and churches. It looks like you have the alpha and the omega. That's an alpha, the first letter of the Greek alphabet, and the omega, the last letter of the Greek alphabet. So our Lord said, I am the first and the last. I am the alpha and the omega, he says in the book of Revelation, okay? And so that's what's going on there. Now, what looks in the middle like a P and an X, that is not a P or an X, okay? That is an R and a K. In the Greek alphabet, you have the first two letters of our Lord's name are Chi and Rho, okay? Christos in Greek, okay? And it's pronounced Ka, but it looks like an X in Greek, okay? So that X and P is really a K and an R. That's the first two letters of Jesus' name in Greek. When it's spelled in Greek, in the Greek alphabet, K-R, not X-P, okay? So Chi and Rho, that's how we refer to those two letters in the Greek alphabet, Chi and Rho. So hence, we call that symbol the Chi-Rho symbol, all right? And it's meant to symbolize Christ, because it's the first two letters of his name. So you'll see that on some of my other vestments. And you'll see it all around in this church and other churches. That's a very common symbol, the Chi Rho symbol. First two letters of the name Christ. Now, so we got green for ordinary time, purple for Advent and Lent, seasons of Advent and Lent. And then next weekend I'll be wearing red for Passion or Palm Sunday, okay? And this is a gorgeous vestment. And notice there's the Chi Rho symbol again, right? It's not a P and an X. It's a K and an R. This is just gorgeous. So anyway, we only get to wear that a little bit, you know, for Pentecost, for Palm Sunday. When else do I get to wear it? I know I'm forgetting something. Those are at least two major times I get to wear this glorious red. Of course, martyrs, feasts of martyrs, like the Solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul. Any martyr, feast of a martyr, I get to wear this. And I love wearing it. This is my rose vestment. Don't say pink, okay? It's rose. This is a nice one. Now, that has a different symbol on there. See that? IHS, in hoc signum. There's different theories about why, what that means. But it could also be the first three letters of Jesus' name when it's spelled in Greek. Jesus, okay? I, and what looks like an H there, and S. Jesus. Anyway, or it could mean in hoc signum. It's like, you know, the sign that, who was the emperor in Rome that crossed the Rubicon? Not Caesar, I'm sorry. Constantine had his soldiers put that on their shield because he saw this vision in the sky of the cross, and then he told his soldiers to put that on their shields before they went into battle, and they won this incredible victory, and he became the Roman emperor. All right, because there was anyway, I don't know if I'm telling the story right, but basically he had some kind of vision where he heard a voice or something tell him, in this signal or in this sign you will conquer. In hoc signum, you will conquer. And the sign of the cross appeared in the sky. He had this experience, some kind of spiritual experience. And the guy became a Christian, and he did a lot to help the church. All right, now, white. This is my white vestment. It's a very nice vestment there. It's got the Chi Rho and the Alpha and the Omega again. It's the St. Andrew's cross. That diagonal style that you see. These are called orphreys. I don't know where that word comes from, but an orphrey. And this is a damask fabric, okay, that has this like pattern in it. All these vestments are damask. And I think that's all that's interesting in here. I don't know whose giraffe this is, but if there's a kid who's missing a giraffe in the parish, I've kind of adopted it, and it sits up on top of my vestment cabinet and keeps me company. It's my little buddy. But if you want it, that's where it is, okay? So that's all for now, folks. Next time I'll take you to the back sacristy, and there's a lot of interesting things that we use in the sanctuary back there, all kinds of different vessels and interesting things. So we'll teach you more about that next time. God bless you.